What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Q, Quinte, or Quintessential. Whatever you know me as the host of BLK Talk. Guess what? We have an exciting show for you today, so sit back, tune in, and join the conversation. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another amazing episode of BLK Talk. I'm your host, Q, Quinte, Quintessential, whatever you want to call me. We're here with another exciting show with another amazing person that I've had the opportunity to know for, I think it's 10 years now. Has it been 10 years? I feel like it was 20.
Nah.
No,
it's been about
7 or 8.
Six. It's been about 6-7 years, but about 6-7 years.
I feel like it was 2014 now. It wasn't 2012.
It was 2014. 2014.
So yeah, we're going on 10 years. So let's just say that. So
Man.
one of the hardest working people that I know, who has been doing some amazing things in front of and behind the scenes. I know him as Chris. The world knows him as Cy, the Southern Yankee. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me, man. I love what you're doing.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. So for people who may be unfamiliar with you, let the world know who you are.
Cy the Southern Yankee, man. I'm just a dude from originally from Queens, New York. My family transitioned us down to Atlanta, Georgia, very young age. That's kind of where the name came from. You know, I had a little bit of the New York in me, which my Atlanta peers could never really accept.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, being in Atlanta, you get the title of a Southerner from you know, the Yankees up there, the Northerners. So, you know, I never really got accepted from either side. So I just embraced both sides, you know, side of Southern Yankee.
So being that you've lived in Atlanta for how long at this point?
Man, majority of my life, for real. I want to say, majority of my life, for real.
How are you still so heavy with the New York accent?
My entire family is like, you can escape. Like, I guess I would be the Southerner of my family. Like me and my sister, we would be the Southerners of our family. But at the same time, like being around that much family, you know, it's almost like someone who has like a Caribbean background. You know, you may not be from those areas or whatever, but if your entire family is like that, you can't escape it. You know, you can't escape it. That's who you are ultimately.
Okay, now we're definitely going to bring family back around as a part of this conversation. But when I met you 8 years ago, you were a part of a group and y'all were doing some amazing things. But before that, you had been an artist for years prior to that. So you've been in the game for a very long time.
I've been doing this a long time.
So where did you get the inspiration to become an artist?
Man, ultimately my father, he was a DJ, artist, producer. And you know, he had his own run when he was younger, or when I was younger, he had his own run as an artist. And I just watched him. You know, I watched him go through his process. I watched him grow as an artist. I watched him create. And obviously, you know, want to be like my daddy. You know what I'm saying? So I just, in watching him, I was able to pick up a couple habits here and there. When I first started rapping, I wasn't even rapping my material. I was rapping his material. So like I go to school and I pull up, I start rapping. And everybody like, oh, he dope. But really, I was rapping my dad's rap. So it wasn't until like, maybe I want to say 13 years old that I started writing my own and creating my own stuff. And that's when it really started to take off.
So 13 years old, and here we are, you know, a few years later. Take us on your journey.
Man, so, you know, in high school, like I said, 13, freshman in high school, my father was just more so like, he recognized the influence that I had as far as the peers that I had. He's like, yo, you got a younger, I typically had younger people around me, you know, maybe like a grade lower. So they always looked up to me. They followed me around the school, everything like that, you know. So it was like my little clique or whatever. So he was like, yo, you have influence, you know, like use that to your ability. Like you creating this music, get them to help you to push your music, you know, throughout the school, this and that. But you know, growing, you kind of, you know, you get caught up in the world, you know, like popularity, and you try to find yourself still. So though I heard my father, I don't think I fully gained the confidence to be able to be, you know, take that leadership until I want to say senior year, right before school got out, like literally right before school got out, I dropped my very first mixtape, and I just went around the school passing it around to everybody. I probably had like maybe 150, 200 copies, and I'm just passing around to everybody. I got my friends passing around to everybody, and that might have been, like I said, that was like the last 2 weeks of school, maybe last week of school, and just the feedback that I was getting, like. It gave me that confidence, because everybody's like, yo, I didn't know you was this dope. Like, I see you rapping in the morning. You know, I see you always skipping class and rapping. Yes, I did that. So you know, that was cool. That was cool to realize who I could be or what I was capable of at the time. But it obviously, you know, I still needed a little bit more life, a little bit more experience for me to gain that full confidence and understand who I am to be in this world for real.
So, a high school student with 200 CDs, 200 mixtapes that you're passing out. Now, that had to teach you something about dedication, because I don't know how it happened, but I feel like you was up all night burning CDs on your computer.
Oh yeah, me and my pops, like we burned CDs. It probably took us like maybe 3-4 hours to burn all those CDs, because when you're doing like they had the machine back in the days where you could duplicate like multiple CD burners at a time. You probably put like four to six at a time, and it would basically copy the main CD for all the other CDs, the blank CDs. Oh. But in the midst of that machine, you know, sometimes it might glitch. So you might have a dud CD where it's not really playing everything. You know what I mean? So those are the ones that you got. And we had to test all 200 of those CDs before. Yeah, that's just way back. That's when, you know, that's when CDs was a thing for real. So that process was very humbling. It showed me what it's like as an artist to really put in the work, you know, put in the time, lose some sleep, you know, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. I feel like, at least in my regional area, as far as my city at the time where I was at, I feel like it definitely gave me a little bit of notoriety amongst my peers.
So had you not had that experience during that time, as far as losing the sleep and having to actually not only be the artist, but to be the person behind the scenes, making sure that you as an artist was going to be pushed the right way. If you hadn't had that experience, what do you feel, you know, would have been different in your career?
I just feel like I wouldn't be as experienced as I am today. You know what I mean? I feel like I would have eventually had to learn that skill at some point, and it probably would have took me a little bit longer to get to where I am now. Just as far as understanding goes, like I understand the amount of work that has to go into this in order to get some type of benefit. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of work. So it's almost like sales. You know what I mean? It's almost like door-to-door sales. So you imagine you gotta be confident enough and open enough to speak to people and be open to rejection, because that was the thing too. Like when I was in high school trying to pass out these CDs, you got some people that's like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Not take that personal. You know what I mean? So it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot.
Okay. Now, boom, we finished high school and we're continuing with our music career. You got the notoriety in your area after burning the CDs and passing them out to your peers and your neighbors, and I'm sure your family, because family is always going to be there to support.
Family first.
But tell us like how the next few years would go in your career and what you would learn.
So once I left high school, like I said, I had gained a little bit more confidence. So now I know I'm a dope artist. You know, I'm capable of creating. Now I just have to find like-minded people. You know what I mean? Not people who are under me, because everybody who was my peer was technically a grade under me for the most part. So like once I graduated, That's it. They still in school. You know what I mean? So I went off to college for a little bit of time. I didn't finish. But I went off to college for a little bit of time, and I went to Art Institute of Atlanta, and I met probably a good 80% of my musical peers that I have right now. I met a good 80% of them there, or in the midst of that time frame. So I think I jumped in a clique at that time. It was called Fourth Quarter. And it was with my boy Suli 4Q. He is out in Kansas City. I think he's doing some work with like Tech Nine and all of them or whatever. So he's big in his city, like newspaper, all of that. So I learned a lot of things from working with them. Just work ethic, learning that there's levels to this for real. You know, like it's cool with being dope, but it's a lot of dope artists who get overlooked because they understand that you got to separate yourself from everybody else, and you don't really know how to. You know what I mean? So allowing myself to be around like-minded artists who I felt like may not necessarily they're at my level or they're better than me, and just allowing myself to be a sponge and just be able to absorb all of the knowledge that they're you know giving to me at the time. So I more so just learned how to conduct myself as a higher level artist and not to see myself like everybody else. You know, now I still had that passion where I'm just like, I just want to rap for everybody. Like it ain't about money, you know, like I just want to rap, you know, and that probably is what led to a little bit of heartbreak, you know, those next coming years after, because I was just so passionate that I was blind to the business side of it. And I didn't care about the business side of it. I was thinking, hey, I'll eventually have somebody deal with the business side of it for me, so I don't really care about it. You know what I'm saying? So that led to a lot of heartbreak because you realize in order to get further in this, you have to pick up some type of business traits. You know what I mean? Or understanding. So that's what I would say that those next 5-6 years was like me just going through the motions of trying to learn that the business overrides everything, and it overrides everything. So that was pretty much that.
So we have Project One that you released in high school. Now the time between that project and the next project that you would release, I guess more so as a college student, as an adult. Tell us about that and how that process was for you.
So, to be honest, in my entire music career, I have probably released maybe about 10 to 15 projects in total. But in that time frame, again, I wasn't really following structure. So it was like, I just want to rap on everything. So I was doing a lot of like YouTube freestyles. I was doing a lot of like MySpace freestyles. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping little like I did drop another project. It was funny because after my first project, it was like heavily hip hop based, and then my next project was called Telekinetic Energy, and it was Ryan Leslie influenced. It was Ryan Leslie influenced so much that it was like I started dressing like him and everything. Like I'm going to school with the button up. I got my shirt tucked. I got my slacks on. I got my dress shoes. I got the shades.
See, hold on. I have never seen proof of this, and I've known you for a while. I have never seen proof of this. You probably won't. No, I think we need to see this. Look, don't make me pop up at your parents' house and go through the old photo albums because I know your mama got some somewhere.
I'm sure my dad got some. Because as a like I said, he's a creative as well, and he still, or at least he used to say, maybe not anymore, but he used to say that was his favorite space of mine because he said when I was in that space and just like being influenced by Ryan Leslie, I was open to trying different things musically. I wasn't so stuck on I just want to rap this way. I just want this one beat type sound. You know what I mean? So it was like I really opened myself up. I was writing a lot of R&B at the time.
Were you singing R&B?
I gotta admit, I did have one R&B song that I sung, and I made sure that it was never ever released.
I was just about to say, where's the link? Where can we find it? Because I'm definitely playing.
I made sure it was tucked away so far that nobody would ever hear from it again. My father probably has it. He probably has it somewhere. But yeah, man, it's cringy. It's cringy. But it also showed me that, like,
cringy.
Yeah, it was cringy. But I also would say, like, that's when I was comfortable. Like, I was just doing whatever. And I did that project in 2 days. I think it might have been 10 songs. 8 to 10 songs or something like that, and I just stayed up for 2 days and I just wrote song after song, song after song. Every time I got done with one, I move on to the next, and I was just very inspired. But after there, I think seeing that the reaction, what people didn't really know how to take it. You know, like, I got good feedback. I got a lot of good feedback from that project, but I will say, like, the peers who were around me prior to that, they didn't really know how to take it. They're like, did he go left completely? Like, what, you know?
Now, what it sounded like is maybe in a way you may have been like ahead of your time, because
I've heard that my whole entire like career.
Because what I'm hearing right now is like if something like that was released now, it would be accepted and understood a little bit more, because artists are within the last 5 years, I feel, have been going outside the box more so than normal and kind of redefining what certain genres of music look like. Now, out of all of the projects that you've released, are there any songs that you feel like, if I had the opportunity to re-record and re-release it, I feel like the song would hit completely different now and the world would appreciate it more than they did back then?
No, because, and I say that because, like, I'm that kind of creative. Like, if I created it in one space, it was for that space. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I am one of those people who, like, once I recognize any type of growth that I've reached, I don't even want to. It's like hard to listen to what I've done before unless I'm listening to it from a point of like, okay, this is where I came from. You know what I'm saying? This is where I've grown from. But outside of that, I never really want to. I'm not that artist that wants to go back and touch on old work. Like, it's songs that I like, maybe like halfway completed from years ago that I was like, I like that, and it wasn't finished, but I'm never gonna go back and touch on that again. Like, it's like that. So, and I think I've been like that. I'm still kind of like that. I'm still kind of like that, where it's like I may be inspired to create something, and I get to a certain point, and it's like, okay, that was like 6 lines. That's all I needed. Like, that was the inspiration. I don't have anything else.
See, I mean, would you ever go back, because sampling has been occurring for as long as music's been around? Like, would you ever go back and sample any of your old music on something new?
Okay, that's a good question. I've never thought about that, and now you might make me do that. You might make me do that, because
can I get executive producer credit?
I'll make sure we send some type of package. Send something your way, but yeah. I probably would. I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against that, because I think that's unique. I think that's dope. But fresh off the top, no, I don't have anything specifically that I could sample.
I mean, 10 to 15 projects worth of work. Like, I commend you, because I promise you, I sat up one day and I was like, I would love to be an artist. So I started like trying to write poetry or whatever.
Okay.
Like, I never wanted to sing. I never wanted to be the performer, but I've always wondered the songwriting process, and I just couldn't do it. Like, yeah. So, like, for you, when you realized that gift was there, when you realized that gift was for you, like, how did that make you feel?
It was just like a understanding that I've always had. You know, like I said, I think watching my father do it, that was like the seed planted. And then from there, it was just like, I know who I'm supposed to be. Like, and that led, you know, it was almost like a gift and a curse, because that kind of that kind of caused me to react in a certain way to a lot of lively things like school, work. I was so quick to quit those things because I'm like, I'm a dope artist. I know what I'm capable of. I know who I'm supposed to be in this world. So I don't need this. You know, when it was a lot of things that I could have learned in those spaces, you know, that I probably didn't allow myself to learn. I just got to a point to when I was fed up, I'm out of here. You know, and I explain why I'm out of here. I'm just out of here. You know what I'm saying? So it took time. It took time. But yeah, like I say where I am now, I'm probably the most complete as an artist that I've been my entire career.
You know what? And I said this to you, I feel like it may have been a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at you now, and you know, the viewers are looking at you as well. And there's a certain maturity, there's a certain glow that I've seen on you for, you know, the last couple years. And of course, you know, everybody, we got to go through life to get to these good points. So tell us where you are now in life as an artist, as a man, you know.
First things first, I would say reconnected with God. I would say that because I lost that connection with God in 2015. And it probably took that 5-year process, you know, between the pandemic. 2020 is when I kind of reconnected again with him, or at least went searching for him again, you know. And since 2020, I feel like I've started to like wake myself up, because I've been, you know, inside I've been dead. I'll say, you know, inside I've been dead. Because when you don't have a source, you ain't really got, you know, you out here pushing the engine and you ain't got no oil, you ain't got no gas. It's just you going off of all whatever, you know. And it's like, if you don't have that source, like now that I have the source, I just feel like I'm so ready for whatever is next, you know. And I really couldn't look forward to anything in that 5-year process because I was so used to being let down. I was so used to things not necessarily working out the way that I expected it to. So I kind of just gave up hope in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, whatever happens, happens. You know, you gotta get this mindset like, yeah, whatever it is what it is. Like, and I think that's so poor to kind of like think like that, you know, like, because it don't have to be that way. You know, when you have a source, you know, it ain't got to be, it is what it is. Like, you gonna make it happen. You know what I'm saying? That. So I would say that's mainly what it is. But again, going back to the business side of things, I just feel like I understand the business side a little bit more. So I'm more patient with it now, and approaching things from a business standpoint rather than I'm so passionate about this, because passion can get you hurt. You know what I mean? If you're so blind to it and you just pursue passion and it's nothing else, that could really break your heart, you know. And in which I did experience heartbreak. You know, I did experience heartbreak. You know, matter of fact, while I was working with you, it probably was 2 times that I was, you know, I told you I left and went and did the professional wrestling thing, and that was like a 3.
Yes. Why did I forget about that? Yeah.
To me now, it feels so long ago. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, that was like a 3-4 year process where I was so angry with music and why, like, so confused. I wasn't really tapped in with God. So that was like fuel to the fire. It was like, okay, ain't no God. You know, God not here doing this for me. You ain't helping me. So it's like, yeah, now I'm out here. I'm gonna just find something else to do, and I'm gonna be good at that, you know. And it's like, I tried, and it's like in so many different ways. I broke my wrist. That was the first break I experienced. I messed up my back. You know, I got joints that's all banged up and beat up. You know what I'm saying? And though it was an experience that a lot of people can't say that they've done, you know, I just feel like it was a way for me to kind of recharge at the same time, take a break from music, recharge. And I slowly worked my way back towards it. You know, I also was able to become a fan of music in that time span. Because when you're a creative, you kind of look at certain things from a creative perspective, right?
Mm.
So like you have this show, you have BLK Talk, right? If you're watching other podcasts, you might look at it from a standpoint of, okay, like, I don't really like how they do that podcast. Like, you're judging it from that side because you're creative in that space as well. So I couldn't really be a fan of music for a while. Like, it was a while that I couldn't be a fan of music. And I feel like in that time span, I wasn't really an artist. So I'm like, I can listen to music and I ain't got to judge it so hard. And I'm so thankful that I did that because now I appreciate music on so many levels. It doesn't even matter the genre necessarily, because if you're an artist who took the time to book a studio session and you went in that night or that day, you created this piece of work, that's special. That's special. Now, it may not be my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like, oh, this is whack or this is trash. Like, nah, man, everybody has what they like. You know what I mean? And it just may not be for me. But yeah, that's mostly what I learned in that time span.
Okay, so you've experienced heartbreak, business-wise, personally. You've lost your relationship with God. You regained your relationship with God. You went through dark moments that eventually led you to lighter moments. And with that, you decided to share your healing with the world. So you created a show of your own. Tell us about that.
I created Healing is Necessary last year, and I had a nice good stride with it. My goal was to connect with as many Black males as possible and talk about things that we don't typically discuss. And it worked out. It worked out very well. I since then have somewhat taken a break because I need to heal myself in a sense. You know, when you are absorbing so much knowledge at a time, sometimes you need space to process, space to apply, you know. And now that I've done that, not only am I ready to restart it back up, but I want to incorporate the sisters this time around too, you know, because I think that's a conversation that needs to be had as well. You know, I feel like the brothers and the sisters, we've been disconnected for a while now. We both have opinions about each side, and it's like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get these conversations stirred up, and let's see if we can get to some type of median or some type of middle ground where we can learn to work with each other and not against each other all the time, you know?
And I know your first topic. Please let me help you with that first topic.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're going to be talking about it because it's going to be within the next couple of weeks. So I would like to
for real. Like and not to cut you off, but I feel that this topic, and I'll share it with you offline, is so important. Okay. It's a simple topic, but it leads to something so much deeper. I had this conversation one day when I was sitting around some friends, and I just simply wanted to know. I had about 5 Black women, their mothers, their wives, their sisters, and it was a simple question, and that one question led to a 2-hour-long conversation of understanding that I never would have gotten had that question not been answered. So I'll share that question with you in a offline. But with this, are you going to have a co-host, or is it going to be just you? Because I mean, you're the male perspective, but of course there needs to be a female perspective.
I haven't fully decided. I know my wife and I, we tried to restart season 2, and I don't think I was in a space to really come back to Healing is Necessary yet. I wasn't fully mentally all the way there yet. So I would love to, because she has amazing perspectives as well. You know, she has her own space of inspiring women and trying to bring women together and all of that. So I think it would make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? It would be a lot easier for us to do it together. But again, it's however God sees fit, man. If he wants me to do it alone at first and kind of, because I think those conversations could be good too. You know, me and my wife, we're different, but we have a lot of similar opinions. You know what I'm saying? So I think to sit in rooms with people who don't necessarily have the same opinion as me, I think that would be good. It would be thought provoking. So I don't know. I'm not against the co-host though. I'm not.
See, I was getting at wifey being a co-host, being as though she is,
Yeah.
somebody who, is
Yeah.
very knowledgeable about things and connected with certain things. You know,
Yeah.
but
It would make
so
sense.
you've talked about wifey, you've talked about, your father, your sister, your family. Now when it comes to you as a man, you as an artist, how important has the family connection been for you, the family support, when it's come to becoming who you are and who you would continue to grow to be?
I think a little bit of, again, it's one of those gift and a curse type of situations, because those are the opinions that I value the most. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? There are so many times when I create a song or I create a collection of songs that I'll sit down, I'll call a family meeting, and I'm playing the songs for them because I just want their opinion. You know what I mean? And I think over time, where that has helped me, I think it's hindered me at times as well, because I hang on to their words. So, we're opinionated family. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, if they don't dig it, it's like, okay, so what, am I not going to go through with it now because they don't dig it? And I think a couple years ago, I might have allowed myself to do that. And now it's just like, no, I'm just playing this for you so you can hear it. Like,
Yeah.
I believe in this. Like, this is
Yeah.
going to be it. But I just want you to hear it. You know what I mean? So I think it took me to kind of get to that point of being able to do that. But my family, they're, that's my insight. That's my influence that I care about for real. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I mean, I care about other people's influence as well, but that's directly who I know they have my best interests at heart. They're not gonna give an opinion that's ultimately trying to hurt me. They're just being, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say it's everything.
Now let's talk about partnership. Um, Now, I'm sure through a lot of your, different healing processes, your wife was right there with you. Now, how do you feel that having a supportive partner, a strong partner, how do you feel that that has impacted how your healing would, ultimately change who you would become?
Um, I just think that it's everything, man. If you don't have that support system where you're going through those foggy spaces, it's really hard for you to get out of those holes. You know what I mean? It's hard for you to get out of that mindset when you're extremely down. You need somebody who's gonna lift you up. You need somebody who's gonna speak life into you. You need somebody who's just gonna understand. They may not fully understand, but they give you enough space. They understand enough to give you enough space to do what you got to do. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? If you don't have that support system, it's really hard. You're gonna meet a lot of friction. You're gonna have a lot of headbutting, and in which I've experienced before, but I see the side of the support system now, and understanding what support looks like, because I've also been on the side where, you know, I have the support, but I'm not the supporter. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily, and it's just, you got to learn these things. You got to learn what good support looks like and a lack of support looks like, you know? So I just think that support is everything. I truly feel like I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of my wife and my family. You know what I mean? Like, just speaking life enough is
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Speaking life alone is enough. But then, it's the small things behind the scenes that they do. They'll go out of the way, they'll take certain tasks off your hands for you, and that's very helpful, because trying to be an artist, a manager, a producer, or whatever you are, all trying to be everything in one is really, really difficult. It's really
Mhm.
difficult, and we're human, we're human. Like, so I think support is everything.
Yes. So let's talk about today and tomorrow. So
Okay.
musically, career wise, where are you right now, and what is it that the people can now look forward to from you?
Well, I will say, I just came off. I want to talk about it just because I feel like this is just going to be part of my healing process. But I was promoting the One of Them Ones tour. I was supposed to be opening up for Chris Brown and Lil Baby, and I had one of those experiences where it was like, an extreme smack in the face, like where you tell the world for what, a good 2 months that
Mhm.
this big thing is gonna happen, and everybody, you're gaining new attention. You got new people following you, new people supporting you, and you think it's so amazing. You know, you're like, oh, this is all it took, and it's like for that to be stripped, you know, pulled from under you, like nothing, like literally the day of, like it's not even like I get a heads up. So I had to learn how to process that quickly, and I did a very good job at doing it. Like I just accepted it. I said, Lord, if this is not it, whatever it is, I trust you.
Mm.
It is, I trust you. This doesn't feel great. I don't know what you're doing, you know, but I trust you, you know. And so that took some time to kind of come around from it. I still haven't fully gotten out of whatever pit I was in while dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just mean that musically. Musically, I haven't gotten out of that pit, but I'm also going through a transitional period where I'm about to become a Christian artist, a Christian rapper. So, and I fully accept that. I fully accept it. I'm going to allow him to work through me. I feel like it's something that I feel like God has shown me, like, you can do all of this. You can reach these points, but I just don't want you to do it. That's why I feel like the Chris Brown and Lil Baby concert didn't work. I truly feel like he's like, look, I showed you you can get it. You could get the opportunity, but I don't want you there. That's not the space that I want you in. Ooh. I want space. I want you to, you know, I can make you so much bigger if you just put me first. And I think it's a difference in shouting out God every now and again and like, yeah, God, I got you. I keep God first. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, really putting him first is including him in everything that you do. You know what I mean? Making sure you mention him in everything that you do. So I think going forward, that's what I'm just gonna strive to do. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I think for the people who have kind of been tailing along with the Side of Southern Yankee thing, 2019, I resurfaced. I dropped Going Through the Motion. That was my first project at Side of Southern Yankee. And then after that, I had shot a music video called I Need You. And I didn't even realize it until the other day that like that was a Christian song. Like that was my song. That was my gospel. That was me preaching the gospel. And when I went back 2 days ago and I just watched the video because that was also one of the videos. It was during the time where we were doing a lot of protests. You know, I don't think the George Floyd thing happened yet, but I remember we were protesting a lot. It was a lot of police brutality.
Yeah.
You know, still is, but it was a lot of police brutality being spoken about at the time. And I just remember being like, okay, God, like we need you. Like we need you, you know, like this is a time where everything is crazy. We need you. And I went back and I watched the video and I was like, yo, this song was so good. And because I think I didn't get the feedback that I was looking for musically, I kind of redirected and I started, you know, popping my talk again. You know, I started rapping again. And I gained some, you know, attention off of it. But then right after that, or maybe around that same time, Pastor Michael Todd with the Transformation Church, he did like a little challenge, the History in the Making challenge, and I just submitted and did a little verse on it and put it up on Instagram, and he posted it on his page, and I gained like a lot of my following now is from the Transformation challenge that I did.
Wow.
Completely ignored it. Went back to making my secular music. Completely ignored it. Went back to making my regular music, you know, and I don't think that he wasn't in a space like, oh, because you ain't talking about me or because you're not focused on me, I'm not gonna bless you. Like, no, he still was blessing me. He was showing me like, yeah, you're capable. He put, you know, was able to show me that I can reach different heights as long as I apply myself. Yeah. But I think the key or the extra sauce on top is really implementing him. And I'm excited for what's gonna come, man. I'm excited.
So have you started writing yet?
No, so I haven't started writing yet. I plan to write probably within the next couple days. But I really wanted to do research because, you know, not having a full understanding of what like the gospel rap or gospel, you know, gospel hip hop kind of sounds like. I'm used to how it was when I was coming up, and I'm like, Lord, use my words properly, but like I don't want to say corny, but it was just like, you know, you listen to certain gospel rappers and you like, this is cool, but it's like, ain't really for me. But now I've come across like a slew of artists, and it's almost like I'm literally listening to the music that I was listening to before without the cursing and the toxic, the toxic implementation of all the negative worldly things. You know what I mean? So now it's just like all God, everything. You know what I mean? And it feels good. It feels good. I haven't written anything, but I'm so confident about this move. I'm just like, yeah, I already know. The first time I sit down to write something, it's over with. Like I already know, so I'm just really preparing for that, man. Just get my mind on God only. I've been ridding myself. I probably have unfollowed probably 300 people within the last 2 days. 300 artists, 300, just artists or just different type of influencers that I feel like won't necessarily
are not conducive with where you're about to.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it.
You got to be your own filter. You got to be your own filter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you got to guard your spirit. You got to guard your gates. If you're, we kind of blindly listen to things a lot of the times, or just involve ourselves in things that contribute to us going the wrong direction or the wrong path,
Yeah.
So now I'm just trying to redirect, man, and just put all the focus on God for real.
I'm loving it, and I'm gonna be right there. And when we're done with this, don't hang up. I'm gonna end the recording, but I'm glad that you mentioned that. So look, tell the people who may not be familiar with Side the Southern Yankee why they should support you as an artist and where they can find you.
I would say, man, support me as an artist because it's authenticity. It's a lot of authenticity, and I don't feel like it's too much of that. I feel like we have a lot of people who are creating themselves to be characters in this generation, because it's social media is a huge thing, and this world has this world will apply a lot of pressure on you to fit into a certain popular category or whatever is cool and acceptable, and I just think I'm in a space in my life where I don't really care about that anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to do anything for me. You know what I mean? And even if it did, like what will it really do? And I think for people to think that they have to be stuck in those spaces, it feels like a prison. Like the moment I decided, you know what, I'm not going to make this type of music anymore because it really it did things for me, but it didn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, if I redirect all my attention on God, I'm sure, I'm sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure he's going to take me to heights that I never thought that I would be able to reach. I still be able to be next to the people who I felt like were influences to me. You know what I'm saying? But they see me in a different light now. They have to walk, a certain way around me because I carry myself a certain way. So that's the goal, man. I just feel like authenticity, you're going to get some healing with me, because we're going to talk about some things that you're going to be like, oh, my favorite rapper don't talk about stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's going to be one of them things. And yeah, man, just, I'm just all about pursuing purpose, so I'm going to be speaking a lot of that, pursuing purpose, whatever that may look like, and keeping God first, ultimately.
Yes. All right. And how can people stay in contact with you? How can they find
Yankee, man? Side of Southern Yankee. Follow me at Side of Southern Yankee. I don't really be on Twitter. I'm trying to get into the TikTok thing, but
please do. I think it'll be so fun.
I'm trying. I literally was telling my wife last night, I was like, I think I'm gonna delete my TikTok. And she was like, I think with what you're about to walk into, I think TikTok is gonna be great for you. And I said, okay, I'll give it a chance. I said, I won't delete it. I'll just try it out. So TikTok you can follow me on TikTok at Side of Southern Yankee. But really, I just be on Instagram, TikTok, and then, that's it. That's it. And YouTube. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube, Side of Southern Yankee. Definitely subscribe.
All right, y'all heard it. Side of Southern Yankee on everything, but he's on Instagram, kind of TikTok, and YouTube. Look, I appreciate you so much. I wish you so much success. I am so proud of you and this journey. Just keep on inspiring and keep on being great. And yes, we will talk very, very soon.
Yes, sir. God bless you, brother. Thank you for having me on this, man. We talked about it probably a month ago. And I was like, I don't know when we're going to get around to really doing this video, but I'm so glad we was able to knock it out.
Yes. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.